Hey, how's it going, guys and girls? This is Off the Stage and I'm Aaron Smith. We're back again for another week. This week we are talking about a local initiative by Radio Control, but formerly known as Radio Massey. They're getting together a great big archiving system of all the local music that's been recorded since the dawn of time. And here to tell us a bit more about that is James Lissette. You may also know him as that guy from the Rock Shop.
Hey, how's it going, Aaron?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Cool, man.
So tell us a little bit about this project you got going on.
Initially came about was that Radio Control wanted to sell a lot of their old machines that they had, old tape machines and things like that. And I asked them what they were doing with all the old tapes and everything like that. And they kind of went, well, we don't really know what to do with them or kind of what it all is and everything. At that point, I had, I suppose a revelation, and it was a good and a bad one. One was that I knew an awful lot about it. And the other one was that I was probably the only person that could do anything about it. So I thought about it for about a week, and then I decided that I was the only person that could do something about it. So I better do something about it.
Cool. Good to have you on board then.
Yeah. So the whole concept is what we're doing is music, as technology's changed and recording technology's changed, formats have changed, from using reel-to-reel tapes to cassette decks, mini disc, ADATs, other forms of digital format, into now where everyone uses hard drives. Yep. And the idea is to transfer everything from all of those formats onto hard drive.
Sounds very time consuming.
Yeah, I think it's about a 3 to 4 year project at the moment, and of course ongoing, because people will continue to make music and it will be just ongoing forever.
Well, we hope they're going to keep making music. It's a good town for it.
Yeah, that's what we want to encourage. And Palmerston North's got that unique sort of thing about it, that it's always been a bit of a DIY home recording sort of town. It's always had a really solid music scene, and I'm actually going back into the 1950s with that statement. The earliest thing that I have so far is from 1951.
Nice. Can you tell us what it is?
Yeah, it's Gordon Curry's big band playing in the Savage Club Hall.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So it's quite an eclectic taste of music that's come out throughout the years then.
Yeah. And over the history of sort of, original music in Palmerston North, there's been all sorts of different bands who have done all sorts of different things. And we're quite fortunate in that there's also been a lot of people who have gotten around the town and recorded this music. Yeah.
It really has been. I mean, even now, there's just so many people, such a large music scene here in Palmy. So it's good that we've finally got a resource, building up a resource for that, where we can go back and trace steps from how it's progressed from way back in the day.
Yeah. And there's also the thing that with, Radio Control / Massey, they've done a lot of live to airs over the last 20 years, and all of that sort of thing exists on tape format as well.
Yeah, I've even been down there doing some of that myself. So
yeah,
it's always a bit of fun. It's another good way for local artists to get out there and sort of get their stuff heard straight away.
And the other side of it too is that at the time we're into VSM with this voluntary student membership. Radio Control was the last student radio station in New Zealand that existed solely off the student fee, which of course, now that it's not compulsory, it's like, ooh, what are we going to do? So they've had huge reductions in staff numbers, but fortunately the radio's been able to continue running with its volunteers and everything like that. And that's sort of how I see myself, as a volunteer to kind of help them out, and I'm just doing it in a slightly different kind of way,
So can you tell us a bit more about how you originally got involved with Radio Control, which was Radio Massey?
Back in the day. I shifted here sort of roughly between 89 and 1990, and one of the first things I did when I actually properly shifted here was to get a radio out and tune it to Radio Massey at that time. And it was actually quite funny, because at that time they actually shut down at about sort of mid-November for the year, and they used to start up again at the end of February when the students came back. So I sort of shifted to town. I thought it was great. I came from Hastings that never had anything like this, and I turned it on. I thought, oh, this is massive. I can listen to this thing. It's great. And the next day they shut down for the year. So I was like, oh. However, the next year when they started up again, they said, oh, we want people to be DJs, and I just went up there and they said, yeah, sure, fine, and I became a DJ.
Nice.
Yeah, and that sort of grew from there, and I was station manager from approximately 1993 to 96, something like that. Yeah, great fun. Yeah. There were sort of no rules about running the radio station, so we just did what we wanted. And
yeah, I think that's all probably changed a little bit.
Yeah. It's a bit more formal these days. You can't get away with some of the things we used to get away with. So.
Yeah. I think I got told to hold my P's and Q's quite a bit while I was up there.
Yeah. It was seen as an advantage to us to be going to the Broadcasting Tribunal, because it got us in the paper a lot, so it was good free promotion. So yeah.
Yeah, well, no such thing as bad publicity, is there?
Yeah. But it's always you know, on a serious, it's always been a strong supporter of local music. It's always playlisted local music. It doesn't matter, you know, who it is or what it is. It's always supported it by playing it. And as a consequence, it's ended up with this really big archive of local music. I've got 92 cassette tapes of local bands, for instance. I've transferred about 160 CDs so far, and I've got about another 100 odd albums to go. Plus there's lots of records, there's lots of reel-to-reels, and there's lots of other stuff. So, yeah.
Cool. So how far do you reckon you are through this archiving project at the moment?
Yeah, I've just started. yeah. There's a lot of building from there and finding things. Plus, there's a lot of things from the 70s and 80s that I'm on paths to try and track down that people did. There was a bunch of guys, for instance, in the 80s before the Stomach existed, that just got around with a 4-track reel-to-reel and a mixing desk, and they just recorded in people's houses and did things, and that was Dolphin Studios, and the basis of that became Meltdown Records, which was a record label here that produced a lot of stuff, and that was run by Peter Shepherd, who was the campus arts administrator at Massey University at that time.
Cool.
So one of the things that I'd like to talk to people about is if you played in an original band in Palmerston North, if you recorded something, I'd like to hear from you, and I'd like to transfer your music into hard drive for you and give you a digital copy, but also put that music within the archive. We're not after any genre specific, we're just after getting everything that was possibly ever done. So it doesn't matter what it is, come in and see me at the Rock Shop or track me down and bring me your music.
Yeah, cool. So if anyone has got some original music that they may have recorded a long time ago that they don't think you might have, or nobody else may have the resource for, you're keen on that sort of stuff as well?
Totally, yep, definitely. Right after it, you know, we just need to collect it all. It's as simple as that.
Cool, that's good to know. So if any of you guys out there have got something that you think James here might not have, you guys know how to get in touch with him. He's always down at the Rock Shop normally.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah. The other side too that I'll add in is that there is a local music show regularly every week on Radio Control, and an important part of this too is all of the media, you know, will go to National Archives and to the local archives here. As it turns out, National Archives like to have one copy of everything they recorded, and Palmerston North bands were not particularly good at doing that. So my first port of call was to archives, and there's very little Palmerston North music in there. There is some stuff. So it's to provide a real resource, and you know, looking ahead for years to come. You know, in 100 years' time, you know, your great-great-great-grandchildren might come and track you down and want to have a listen to what you did.
Yeah, well, I mean, Palmy's been quite well known for being this veritable melting pot of music and influences over the years.
Yeah. You got to love it. Yeah,
it's great.
It's swamp, it's just the place to be.
Yep. For sure. Okay, and I think that's about it from us this week. We'll see you again next month. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page and click that little like button. See you guys next time. It's time for us to get off the stage. Oh no, this is going to be another blooper reel thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. I think that's about us. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it is.